Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome along to the match preview of tomorrow's game at Southampton, between Southampton and Newcastle United. 2 p.m. kickoff, live on Sky Sports as well. Before I go into the show, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who comes on and likes and subscribes to my channel. It's much appreciated. So, guys, if you do like what you see, then please hit those like buttons. Does help the channel grow and does help me go up the search settings so people can find the channel a lot easier. Also, if you haven't yet done it, then please hit the subscribe button. It's free to do so. Also, that helps my channel grow, and also hit the bell notification, and that will tell you when any videos are uploaded or I'm on live. So get those little formalities out of the way. Thank you. So what a day of football we've had already. I mean, commiserations to South Shields, losing 2-0 to Forest Green Rovers in the FA Cup. Didn't see the game personally, but believe it was live on the TV. Looks like they've done all right to only lose by 2-0. So I don't know how the game went, but if anybody's been or watched it, then, do let us know. Also, it's been a good game in the Championship as well. Yet again, another game I haven't seen yet. 5-2 at Bramall Lane of Sheffield United. So that seems as if it was plenty of goals in that game, 7 goals. So yeah. So we look ahead to tomorrow's game. It's the St Mary Stadium in Southampton. Last year, we went down there, got a 2-1 win, courtesy of goals from new signings Chris Wood and Bruno G. Although that probably didn't please Hasenhuttl, but his comments come back to haunt him after trying to get the new players blocked from playing. It came back to haunt him. Karma came back and bit him in the backside basically, and ended up being 2 new signings scoring for us. So So tomorrow's game, it's nearly a year. I mean, it's almost a year. I mean, it was a year ago yesterday when he was. To go today, sorry, I think it was when this guy was at the Brighton game, when he provisionally accepted the job, and then obviously a few days later, on the 9th, his appointment was formally announced that he would become the new manager of Newcastle United. While some people around the country, and I think some of our fan base, were a bit negative towards his appointment. Now, what we're seeing out of Eddie Howe and how well he's done, then it's looking like a very, very good appointment now. And to think people were saying Villa got the best manager in Gerrard. Well, he's seen Gerrard off, hasn't he? So absolutely, he's gone. So Eddie Howe's been here almost a year now. Or we could say he's been here a year, but yeah. Already having 12 months. Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. So we go into the game tomorrow. We're missing this guy tomorrow, Joe Linton. Sadly out after picking up his 5th yellow card last week. Some people are saying, was it done deliberately so he missed this game rather than missing the Chelsea game? Because if he picked up a yellow card tomorrow, he wouldn't be in the against Chelsea next week. So was that a ploy by Joe Linton? Let's get a yellow card against Villa, and then I can then I don't have to play the Southampton game, but then I'll be back for the Chelsea game. If it was good management by Joe Linton, I suppose. And who replaces Joe Linton tomorrow? Well, that's the question. Who replaces? So, do we go this guy? Does Jacob Murphy get into the team? You could say he probably does get ahead of ESM, because is ESM fully fit? But is he fully fit to start from the beginning? Or does Jacob Murphy come into the team, and then this guy off ESM and gets a run out in the second half? It depends how Eddie takes it. I mean, we don't want to put ESM in from the start and then he picks up an injury and then that puts him back again now that he's only just come back. So let's hope we can if we can get this guy to play from the start, then absolutely fine. I'm great with that. But I believe this guy will be the starter tomorrow, unfortunately, Jacob Murphy. And then bring maybe ESM on and give him a half an hour runabout in the team and just see what he can do for half an hour. Hopefully by then we're winning this game and we're bossing it. It is a difficult place to go to, Southampton. They have got a few injuries themselves. I'm not sure what their injury list's like, but I know they've got a few injuries. And the only long-term injuries we've got really is, we've got Isak out after the World Cup, and then obviously Emil Kraft's out for the season. I don't know who, to be honest with you. I mean, Callum Wilson, people are saying he's got an illness. I think he'll be fine tomorrow, if I'm honest. I think he'll be back. I don't think that's going to keep him out of the team tomorrow. Because not only that, there's a World Cup on the horizon. So Callum Wilson will not want to miss a game because of an illness. So I think Callum Wilson will be back tomorrow. I don't think there's any issues with it. I've not heard nothing concrete come out yet that he's not playing tomorrow or anything. So hopefully it's just a minor cold or something he's got and it's absolutely fine. But there's no way Wilson wants to miss. Not when the England squad's being announced on Thursday. He'll want to play every game, including tomorrow. So, and to see if he's included in that, if he gets his airplane ticket to go to Qatar. So, let's see. And obviously Ben Chilwell being out the England team now, hopefully that opens the door and lets Dan Burn in. I mean, Dan Burn deserves to be in that team, if I'm honest with you. He's played really well. He's done well at left back. And also, he can play centre half. So there again, England's got two players. You can play you can play centre half and left back. So you've got two options there with Dan Burn. Gary's in the house. Good afternoon, Tony. Good afternoon to you, Gary. Hope you're well, mate. But so let's hope Dan Burn's in that squad. I mean, we don't know what Southgate's going to pick next week, but we'll find out. And I'll probably do a show partly on the England squad next week when that's picked. I think that's Thursday, so I'll have to be on the fan zone night. So we'll have a talk about that in the fan zone. So that should be an interesting thing to have a conversation about. But yeah, going on to tomorrow's game. I mean, yeah, it is difficult down. It might be a difficult game down there, but the way we're playing, we don't fear anybody whatsoever. We fear nobody, and I feel we can go down there and go and get the 3 points and bring the 3 points back. And obviously we don't want to look for favours off other teams to help us out, but it'd be nice tomorrow if Villa turn over Man United and beat them, because then if we win tomorrow, that puts us 4 points ahead of Man United, which is a nice gap to have. And also, if Tottenham end up with a draw against Arsenal losing, sorry, not Tottenham, sorry, Liverpool, Tottenham, if they draw with Liverpool, we go above Tottenham. So, it's all to play for. I mean, I've got a feeling that that'll be a 1-1 draw with Tottenham tomorrow and Liverpool. So yeah, let's see what happens. But yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts, guys? I mean, get your predictions in the chat and who you think will come in. Chris has said, hi, Tony. Hi, Chris. Hope you're well, mate. And Mighty Mag there. Hi, Tony. Hope we can see us on third. Well, yeah. I mean, we win tomorrow and Spurs get nothing less than 3 points. If Spurs pick up less than 3 points, then, yeah, we can go above Spurs on goal difference, even if they draw. So it's all to play for tomorrow. And, yeah, but we'll know it after 2 p.m. how well we're doing once we kick off at 2 p.m. And then, obviously, Spurs will probably look at our result and think, right, okay, they want to better that. They'll want to win as well against Liverpool. So, yeah, so it's all to play for tomorrow. But wouldn't it be great if we're in third place tomorrow night? That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? And then, because we will be in third until Spurs kick off. But if we win, obviously. But yeah, and then we got Chelsea next week before the World Cup. comes in and we have an unexpected month's break. But that break might do the world of good because that'll get the players re-energised again. Eddie Howe stated in his press conference yesterday that he's not going to ease up on the training. They're still going to carry on regardless of the training regime, because when they come back on December, you want them players back and firing at all costs. So, and hopefully, touch wood, we don't get any injuries in the World Cup, because that's the last thing we need is some players come back with an injury. So hopefully, hopefully, and we should be all right that way. Mighty Mag also says, Tony, anyone for Southampton we should be watching as a threat? Well, James Ward-Prowse, we know what he's like from free kicks. He's quite deadly, isn't he? So there's James Ward-Prowse. Also, Che Adams. I mean, he's playing well at the moment. He's scoring goals. But you know, he's got to get past our back line of Botman and Share. You know, they're absolutely brilliant, those two, along with Trippier and Byrne and Pope, obviously. I mean, he's still got a good back five. I mean, it all depends how we start. How many goals we're up at half time, maybe, you know, and let's see where we are tomorrow. But hopefully, I mean, I've got we're down for 2-0, but if we went ahead and won, say, 3 or 4-0 or whatever tomorrow, that'd be a cracking result. So we just gotta wait and see, really. Gary says, I can see us picking up all 6 points in these last 2 games. Yeah, absolutely, Gary. I can as well. I can see we're beating Chelsea. Don't fear Chelsea. If we can go and beat Spurs, and then remember the Chelsea game's at home. So, again, you know, we've got the crowd in front of us. Chelsea will not fancy playing us, that's for sure. Especially if they get beat tomorrow off Arsenal as well. So, you know, after losing 4-1 last week, then they've got Arsenal tomorrow. So let's see how that game pans out. Might just dent Chelsea's confidence a bit more. And Chris says a Spurs draw and a Newcastle win definitely on the cards. Yeah, it is. I mean, it just depends for Liverpool if obviously Van Dijk has a good game, and if you know, because if you notice now, teams are all targeting Alexander-Arnold because they've realised he can't defend. So I don't know why all these people have all of a sudden just started targeting him when they should have realised he's never been able to defend for a few years. But, you know, he's good going forward, but he's not so good at the back. Mighty Mac, Tony, if and a big if we end the Champions League, can you see the checkbook really opening up? It will be a lot harder playing 2 to 3 games a week. It will open up, but it'll have to be under. We'll have to go under the FFP, because you can't just open the checkbook and go, right, okay, let's splash the cash. We don't want to end up in trouble or any points deductions or anything like that. So we've got to be careful with that. But I'm sure the owners have got it all under control. I'm sure they know what they're doing. I'm sure they've got all the figures there. I think when you're paying installments, that helps with your FFP as well, because you're not paying that lump sum out in one go. So because you're paying that out over a steady amount of time, then that helps as well. Like we are doing with Nick Pope, believe it or not. We didn't just pay the 10 million straight out for Nick Pope. We're paying that in installments, just over £3.5 million a year. So there you go. I mean, so that helps you with your FFP. But yeah, I think there will be. But if we're in this top 4 come January, I think it might be easier to attract a few players in as well, because they'll see we're in the top 4 and think, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, I'm going to go there because they're going to be in the Champions League. So, you know, it's a good pull when you're in the top 4. Chesry. Hi, Tony. Hope you're well, mate. Hi to all in the chat. Good afternoon, Chesry. Hope you're fine, mate. Yeah, I'm absolutely well, mate. Thank you very much. We're just discussing the Spurs. There's game tomorrow away to Southampton. I keep saying I've said Spurs there, because I was talking about them before. Yeah, so I mean, who do you think? I mean, people who have just joined. I mean, I said at the start of the show, I was on about this guy, Eddie Howe. He's now been here a year. Unofficially took the job last year. Remember on the Saturday night on the Brighton game, we drew 1-1. Eddie was in the crowd. And then a few days later, he's formally announced as the new manager of Newcastle United. And what a job he's done in 12 months for us. I mean, look at the turnaround we've had. We were sitting bottom last year when he came into the job, no wins. And now we're fourth in the Premier League, you know, on 24 points. What and a plus 14 goal difference. What an absolute turnaround this man has done. I mean, you know, if there's a job for, if the award for Manager of the Year comes out this year, I'm hoping he's nominated and I hope he wins it, because if we carry on this season the way we're playing, he's got to be in the shout of getting Manager of the Year, you know, but we'll just have to wait and see. And as I said earlier, this guy suspended tomorrow, Joe Linton, you know, picked up that yellow card last week. Was it done deliberate? Who knows? Only Joe Linton knows that. But if it was a good ploy, so he doesn't have to play against Southampton, so he can be comfortable and play against Chelsea, which, you know, isn't bad. Could this guy come back and start tomorrow at ESM? Who knows? We know he's fit again, but would you risk him from the start? Or would you say put him on the bench and maybe give him half an hour just to try and build his fitness back up? Because do you want to risk him and then he gets injured again? But then if he and misses a Chelsea game, where if you give him half an hour, then he could probably start against Chelsea. Who knows? Eddie Howe, he knows that. Or could this guy be the one who starts tomorrow, Jacob Murphy, in place of Joe Linton, playing on the left? So, you know, and then obviously bring on ESM for the last half an hour, maybe. Again, it's all ifs and buts, you know. We just don't know. So, but we'll find out tomorrow when the team sheet comes out at 1 o'clock, and we'll see who's actually in the side. Gary says massive turnaround, Tony. Yeah, absolutely. Eddie Howe's done a huge turnaround at this football club. I mean, where we are now is absolutely fantastic. Mighty Mag, ASM straight in tomorrow. Yeah, again, I mean, I would like to see him from the start, but then I just don't want him picking up an injury or pulling up somewhere and coming off, and then he misses a Chelsea game. So it's a bit of a conundrum, that one. You know, so I don't know. But like I say, tomorrow we will find out and we will know who's playing at 1 o'clock. But yeah, I just hope whoever plays tomorrow steps in and does a good job. But I think ESM could come in, but who knows? But personally, if it was me, I would say play Murphy. I know it's a hard thing to say, but I'd play Murphy and keep ESM on the bench because you want to keep him fresh for Chelsea, I think. But yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, you know, the game tomorrow should be a great game. I mean, we all remember last year, we went down there and won 2-1. So, I mean, we've got a bit of a mixed record going down to there. It's always been a bogey ground for us. But now it's a time to start putting these things right. All these grounds are now bogey grounds. It's time to go at these grounds and say, right, we're going to start winning at these grounds now and put an end to that. You know, so yeah, let's go down there. Just give a good performance. Show Southampton how good we really are as a team now, and take the game to Southampton. That's what we got to do. Take the game to them. These are the type of games that we need to go out there and win these games well. You know, tomorrow's referee is this guy, Stuart Atwell. He'll be the referee for the game. So hopefully he doesn't have to have too many big decisions to make, because his colleague on VAR is this man. It's all about Mike Dean. Yes. So Mike Dean is on VAR tomorrow. Again, let's hope he doesn't have to make any big decisions. But then he did help us out against Fulham, because Shalabar's yellow card was then turned into a red card after he reviewed the evidence and said, no, that's not a yellow card, it's a red card, get him off. So Mike Dean is the VAR ref tomorrow. Mikey Max says, what's the score with this kid from Australia is supposed to be red hot? Yeah, Guan Corral. Guan Qual. I mean, yeah, he looks absolutely pacey. He looks epic. I like the look of this kid, you know. I don't think he can start playing for us though in January because he'd need a work permit, and I think we're going to loan him out to a European club. Personally, I would say loan him out to maybe Ajax, somewhere like that, a Dutch club, because their football sort of complements the English football. So maybe there, or maybe to a Spanish club or Portuguese. I know John keeps saying he wants to see him go to an Italian club, but I don't know where he'll go, to be fair. But this kid is the real deal. And if he's picked in the Australian squad for the World Cup, then I suggest watching the World Cup and hopefully see him come on and make a substitute appearance, and then we can have a look and see what he's like. But by all accounts, this kid's pretty good. So basically, we just got to see what happens. But we'll know more in January when he comes, and where his destination will be, because you know, I'm looking forward to seeing this lad play, you know, because the future's bright with this guy. So and it's, with the money being 18-year-old, you know, what a talent. I mean, you know, to pick a talent up like this, it's just absolutely fantastic. I think his brother plays in Germany as well, if I remember rightly. But there he is there on screen in his Newcastle shirt, Mr. Garanqual. And yeah, we look forward to seeing what you've got to offer. So tomorrow's, I mean, people are saying Wilson's got, like I said earlier on, Wilson's got an illness or something, but I can't see him being out tomorrow. I think he'll be back. I think he'll be fit. I think he'll be firing. Doesn't want to miss a game, because you want to play in that World Cup, that's for sure. And you want to make sure he's not missing any games now, because the squad's announced Thursday. So, yeah, let's see if Wilson's in that squad tomorrow. Chris says the Australian kid looks quality. I like the way you've put that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, the skill he's got, I mean, it's raw, but imagine when Eddie Howe's got a hold of him with his coach and stuff, and they've got him training well. Gosh, this guy's going to be the business. Yeah, he's going to be absolutely brilliant. So yeah, let's see where this takes him. But like I say, we'll have to see where he goes to in Europe, and then we'll have to follow his progress with that team, whichever team he goes to, and then hopefully catch up on some games to see if he plays or comes on as a sub and see what impact he has. But yeah, future's looking bright. We're going in for youngsters, which is the best thing about it. Gary says Adele used to be a bogey ground for us, Tony, but since they moved to St Mary's, we pick up points down there now. Yeah, true, Gary. I mean, we've had a few losses there, but yeah, the Dell used to be the worst. And I mean, Letitia used to always score a cracker against us, didn't he? Every single time, you know. I used to hate when we went to the Dell, especially when Letitia was playing. I used to think, oh, he's not injured today, because yeah, he used to score some crackers against us. But yeah, we've got nothing to fear tomorrow, and I hope we go down there with the belief that we can get the 3 points. And just wonder if Miguel Moran will score again tomorrow, and I wonder if it'll be a tap-in or a 25-yarder. Who knows? I mean, Eddie Howe says he doesn't want fans to keep expecting that he's going to score these 25, 30-yarders every week. Well, it's not us fans expecting that. Best go and tell Miggy that then, because I think Miggy tries to keep doing it because he wants to create his own goal of the month competition, doesn't he? So, but yeah, I mean, you know, I don't care. To be honest with you, I'm not bothered who scores as long as we win the game. That's the main thing. The goal's going to the back of the net. I would love to see Botman get a goal, because I think if Botman gets one, he'll get a few. You know, he's been very, very close. But it's just been denied by goalkeepers. Mighty Max says, love the goal difference. Yeah, absolutely. I love the goal difference as well. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? And it's been a long time since we've been in the plus goal difference. And I think tomorrow, if we win that, that's our longest done. I think we're longest unbeaten run in 10 years. So, but if we get these 6 points between now and next week and we hit the World Cup, say, sitting in third place, what an achievement. What an absolute achievement. And while I say I'm not getting carried away about the Champions League, because at the end of the day, you don't want to think, right, I don't want to say now that, oh yeah, we'll finish in the Champions League places and then we end up finishing in Europe, like a Europa League or Conference League, because then that's when people come on in the slate and say, well, you said we're going to finish top four and look where we are. So I remain grounded, but I'll see what we're doing in April. If we get to April and we've got a Champions League, we're in that Champions League place, then I think we'll push on to try and stay there. But if we're not, and we end up in the Europa League or a Conference League place in 7th, that's absolutely fine, because you're still in European competition at the end of the day. I mean, after next week, you got that month break, they go off to Saudi Arabia. Although there's a bit of, they're not sure what's happening at the minute over there, but they're hoping that will be over there. We should be all right. And then we've got that game that was announced yesterday on the 17th of December against Rayo Vallecano from Spain. So there's a friendly there for them as well. And I believe they're playing a friendly out in Saudi Arabia as well. So, it's not too bad. And then ready to come back in January on Boxing Day in December. And then you've only got a couple of games, and then you're into the January transfer window. So, absolutely fantastic. And then we've got then when the January window opens up, I'm sure they'll have targets. I'm sure they've got targets now. I'm sure they're even talking to people, maybe talking to agents or whatever. Mighty Max says, Tony, your honest thought, what will the owners be thinking if we end the Champions League? Would they have expected this season? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they've given Eddie Howe any targets that they want. I know Amanda said 3 to 5 years. Well, next 5 to 10 years, she wants to win the Premier League. Do you know, it's a good question, that really is. And to be fair, I think if we end up in Champions League place, I think the owners will be absolutely fantastic, over the moon, because then that automatically propels us onto the biggest stage in Europe. So I think they will be happy with that. But then we've got to do that consistently, season after season after season. And that's where you've got to have your strength and depth. But I did say it would take a few windows for it to finally eke out the players that we don't really want at the end of the day. Players like Lascelles, Jacob Murphy, Ryan Fraser, they will all move on eventually, but it won't be instant. They'll do it gradually. And then that way, you just bring your own players in, and eventually just get rid of those players that you don't want in the team, in the club, and then you've got your fresh set of players. But Eddie only wants players who come into the club who've got the mentality to win, and they come that don't upset the dressing room, because the last thing you want is some prima donna coming in upsetting the dressing room. I know people are saying, "Oh, do you think we'll get Ronaldo?" I honestly don't want Ronaldo. Why would I want his ego in our dressing room? Because our dressing room's fine at the moment. If you bring someone like him, he can upset the apple cart. So people like Ronaldo, no thank you. Do not want him in the dressing room at all, at any cost. We just want players who've got the right attitude. I mean, Eddie Howe done that with Jamal Lascelles, kept him as club captain, just so he didn't upset anybody in the dressing room, because it just keep that consistency. But once Jamal leaves the club, Kieran Trippier will become club captain. Kieran Trippier is the captain at the moment when he's playing, because Lascelles can't get in this team. And it shows you why Lascelles can't get in this team. But when Lascelles comes on, obviously he takes the captaincy because he's club captain. But I believe maybe next summer, you don't know. Lascelles might go next summer. Fraser might go next summer. Who knows? The problem is some of these players on high wages as well. So it's getting a club who's going to take them off our hands. I mean, Fraser's 80 grand a week. Who's going to take him? Jacob Murphy's got 5 years left on his contract. Who's going to take him? You know, they're not easy to shift. That's the problem. And the problem lies with the former owner, of course. Mighty Max says, Tony, I was thinking after a few years, would you take Messi on a freebie? He's probably cost a lot. What is he, 33, 34 now? I'm not so sure about that. I mean, do you know what? The guy's been a good player. Don't know if he would cut it in the Premier League, to be fair. Personally, I think if he leaves PSG, I think he'll go back to Spain. I don't think we'll take him at Newcastle. I think he'll be on a lot of money a week as well. So no, I think Messi will go back to Spain, maybe back to Barcelona. Who knows? And see the rest of his career out there. But wherever he does go, good luck to him in the future. But yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. I don't think he would. To be fair, I'm not sure he would cut it in the Premier League. I think it's the pace and the intensity in the Premier League's too much for him. So I don't think offhand that he would actually cut it in the Premier League. But it's a very good question to ask, you know. Unless a Man City or somebody went in for him, but you know, whether that happens, don't know. We shall see. So yeah, I mean, January transfer targets. Who do we want in January transfer window? Well, you know, I mean, there's talk of Maddison, there's talk of Tielemans, there's talk of, you know, I mean, whoever we bring in, it'll be somebody who will improve the team, and that's what we need. Somebody who can come in, improve the team, and say, right, this is what we need. This is what we need from you, and this is what we want you to do. But you know, again, you want the good characters coming in. You don't want bad characters in your dressing room or people who think they're bigger than the club. You know, but for a start, as my first signing in January would have to be this guy here, James Maddison. I mean, this guy, if we want to finish in that top four, he would help us get there. I mean, the creativity from this guy in midfield, you know, absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I would love to see him in the midfield. And can you imagine him alongside Bruno as well? Oh, I know Willock might be pushed out the team for him, but I tell you what, this guy, you know, would be absolutely brilliant, and would do a double deal and try and get this guy as well, with him only having 6 months on his contract in January. Because Leicester may think, do we let him go for free, or do we just make a quick, just get whatever we can from him? And, you know, so it's an interesting one. You know, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, for getting both of those players. Diaby would be tasty. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I like Moussa Diaby. I mean, Bayer Leverkusen aren't having the greatest season at the moment, other than they're in the bottom three. So, yeah, I mean, why not? It's a good shout. There he is on screen. I mean, you know, would I take him? Yes, of course I would. You know, but he's got to get past Miguel Almiron. But then he can play in different positions as well. So, and he's young. So yeah, great. It's, you know, I mean, it all depends how much Leverkusen will accept for him, because of them not having a great season. Maybe to get him a little bit cheaper than they wanted, because I don't think he's worth 60 million now. But who knows? But that would be one good signing. He says, who would drop for Maddison? Well, I would say you're probably dropping Willock, aren't you? That's the only problem. But We just have to see. Maddison and Trossard would hugely strengthen the squad. Yeah, absolutely, Chris. I mean, yeah, Trossard would be a great signing, wouldn't he? He looks good on the left, and he's out of contract next summer. And there is strong talk of us being linked with him. So yeah, let's see where that one goes. Just waiting at the moment. Latest Premier League score is Leeds United have just took the lead against Bournemouth through Rodrigo in the 3rd minute penalty. So it's Leeds United 1, EFC Bournemouth 0 at the moment. Gary says also knows where the back of the net is as well. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, James Maddison is a great player. I like James Maddison. He's one of my favourites, and to see him in a black and white shirt will be absolutely brilliant, because Leicester, he's only going to have 18 months left, and Leicester want him to sign a new deal, but he's not signing one. So if he's not going to sign a new deal, best bet Leicester can do is let him go in January, because they may not stay up in the Premier League. They may stay in the Premier League. Who knows? You just don't know. But I think he wanted to come here in the summer, and hopefully he's pushing for another move again in January. Mighty Max has also heard our scouts were at some midweek Euro game. I've not heard that one, but quite possibly. They're possibly everywhere, The scouts are everywhere. Oh, just breaking there. Bournemouth have now equalised. Marcus Tavernier has scored, so it's 1-1 now between Leeds and Bournemouth. Love the Vale to go down, would show it right at their manager. Oh, you mean the Villa? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, that would be funny, wouldn't it? Emery comes in and takes Villa down and takes them down to the Championship. Yeah, that would be funny, wouldn't it? Do you know what, though? I just think this guy will keep them up. But I've got a feeling they're going to beat Man United tomorrow. I've just got that feeling, because Unai Emery actually has a good record against Man United. So it wouldn't surprise me if they actually turn Man United over tomorrow, which in some ways I hope they do, because that helps us out as well. If they turn Man U over, be absolutely fantastic. I mean, there's other players I would look at in January as well. Maybe Manu Kone. He looks a good player. He's very good on the ball. 21-year-old Frenchman. Plays at Mönchengladbach in Germany. Daniel Farkas, the manager there, who used to be manager of Norwich City. He's probably rated around about the 30-40 million pound mark. Defensive midfielder, so he can do all the dirty work, but also he can pass a ball, and he's a very good passer of the ball. Last season, he was man of the match, I think, against Leipzig, because he absolutely tore them apart with his passing. So this guy is one for the future. And we've got another goal in the Premier League at the moment, and it's Wolverhampton Wanderers are 1-0 down to Brighton at the moment. I'm not sure who the score is, because they haven't put the score up yet. But yeah, Wolves are 1-0 down to Brighton at the moment. That's Lallana, who scored in the 10th minute, and assisted by Trossard. So there you go for that one. He says big test next week with Chelsea, massive game for us. Yeah, but again, Brighton beat them 4-1 last week, and see how they get on against Arsenal tomorrow. But they won't fancy coming to St James's Park next week, believe me. They will not fancy coming. They won't like that at all. It would be, and Gary says would be, because he did not want to come to us last season. Which player? Sorry, Gary. Which player are we on about? What, Corney or Diaby? I'm not sure. I'll have to see. If it's Diaby, I think Yeah, I think he just wanted to stay there because of his World Cup players, but now I think because he's seeing them not doing so well, he probably wants to move on after the World Cup. I mean, if he doesn't play in the World Cup and he's just an unused sub or he comes on a few times, then his value is not going to be massive. But he comes on and he's an absolute star for France in the World Cup. Then yeah, the price is going to be high for him. So yeah, we've got to watch on that one. But we'll no doubt watch Moussa Diaby closely in the World Cup. You know what's great now, because the way we are now as a club, we all got there now and we look at players and we think, wow, he would be great in Newcastle. He would be great in black and white, So that's the way we are now, and it's nice to be that way. And Wolverhampton Wanderers have just equalised. It's 1-1. Goal from Goncalo Guedes. So there we go. It's 1-1 now between Wolves and Brighton, and 1-1 at Leeds and Bournemouth. And the other games, Man City, Fulham, and Nottingham Forest and Brentford are all 0-0 at present. Gary says, "Are the new Villa manager?" Right, okay, Gary. Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah, I mean, well, I think he did want to come, but I think he was disappointed about the fact it was leaked. And then obviously the chairman of Villarreal offered him a new deal, and he accepted that and took the new deal. But I look at it now and think, hang on, that was an absolute. Was that a blessing in disguise that we didn't get him because we got Howe? Because if we got him, we wouldn't have had Eddie Howe at the club. So yeah, it's a funny one. So some ways I'm probably glad we got Eddie Howe more than we got Unai Emery, if I'm honest. And Eddie Howe's been an absolute breath of fresh air. But yeah, it's nice now to look on. Like I say, it's nice just to look around at players now and say, oh, yeah, I would like to see him. I would like to have him at the team. I would have him, and I mean, that's the way we are now. I mean, there's reports still linking us with the goalkeeper from Porto, Diogo Costa. Again, is that because we just want to bring another youngster into the club? But then again, he's one hell of a goalkeeper. But whether that's just paper talk or what, I do not know. So I'm not even going to get into that one with them. But yeah, no, it's absolutely. It's just nice to see that we can get linked to players, and we're not thinking, oh, well, actually, Mike Ashley's in charge, and he's going to want to buy this player, but he's only going to pay like 5 million for a player or whatever. I mean, so those days have gone now. The days of shopping in Poundland are finished. We're now shopping in Harrods, and it's great to be shopping in Harrods, and it's nice to be at the top table on transfers against the likes of AC Milan, who would beat the bottom, and because of their takeover going through, or their ongoing takeover, that allowed us to nip in, and we blew them out the water because they couldn't afford the fee that we put in for bottoming, and I'm so glad we got them. And I just wonder now, if a lot of Premier League teams are now thinking, God, why didn't we look at this guy Sven Botman? Because this guy's been a rock at the back for us, absolute beast. And I'll tell you now, if he does not get picked for the World Cup, then there's something seriously wrong with Louis van Gaal if he thinks Nathan Naki is better suited to the World Cup than Sven Botman. Because I tell you, this guy is absolutely brilliant. So if he doesn't go to the World Cup, it'll be an absolute tragedy, that. But then I don't think Botman will be too bothered, because at least he'd be back here and he can get sorted out. But yeah, I hope he does get that squad place, because he deserves to be in their squad. I'm sorry, but he's better. I know Van Dijk's a good defender, but Van Dijk's lost a lot of pace now, and you can see he's struggling now. So yeah, get this guy in the World Cup, because he is absolutely fantastic at the back. But so yeah, right, guys. So I'm going to wrap up there soon. But yeah, I mean, tomorrow's game, yes, again, it's going to be a tough game, but I expect us to win. I'm seeing 2-0 with goals from Callum Wilson and Miguel Almiron. If we score more, then absolutely fantastic. If we don't, then that's fair enough. But I think it'll be a great game tomorrow, and I think we will take it to Southampton. Matey Max, I see Pep on the BBC site giving us full praise, saying we are title contender. Good little story on Toon page. Yeah, it's nice for him to throw it in that mix, but I don't want us as a club to be thrown there yet, because we're not title contenders, although we are close to there. But then had some games gone for us, then we could have been at the top. So who knows? But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I like Pep Guardiola because he keeps things real and he talks nice about other teams rather than, where Klopp has a go at people and things like that. Pep Guardiola, totally different guy, and that's why I respect him more as a manager than I do Jurgen Klopp. I mean, the disgraceful scenes from their bench towards our staff at the end of the whistle when they scored the second, when their goalkeeping coach, John Achterberg, jumped off the bench and stuck his fingers up at our bench. I mean, that is just absolutely stupidity and childish. And, but with Guardiola, it's totally different. He gives credit to the other team. I mean, he credited us. He said, look, yeah, last season we came to St James's and won 4-0. He says, this time we've got a 3-0 draw. He says, because that's how good a team they are now. He says they are no longer a team that you can go there and just roll over. So even he's appreciated how well we've done. Mighty Mike says, cheers, Tony, for a great afternoon. No problem, mate. Thank you very much for coming on. And he says 3-0 tomorrow. Yep, let's hope you're right on that one. I said 3-0 last week and we won 4-0. So, So I'm saying 2-0, maybe 3-0 tomorrow. Who knows? Chris says, nice roundup, Tony. See you next time. Yeah, cheers, Chris. Thank you very much. I'm back tomorrow at 12:30 for the warm-up show. For the warm-up show to the Southampton game, where I'll have the team lineups from Newcastle and Southampton. So please tune in for that one tomorrow. And then there'll also be a match reaction. I haven't confirmed the time yet, but I will confirm a time very soon. And so look out for that. Come on, have your say. How the game's gone. And where we're sitting in the table at that time as well, because we may be third in the table, who knows? But so before I wrap up, if you haven't already, then please hit those like buttons. Helps push the channel up the search settings and people can find me a lot easier then. Also, if you haven't yet, then please do hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so. And also hit the bell notification. That also lets you know when I become live or I'll put on an pre-recorded video. So thanks very much for that. So that's it for now. But I'm glad you've enjoyed the show this afternoon. And before I go, I'll just check any results at the moment. We've got Man City's ahead against Fulham. Goal from Julian Alvarez, assisted by Gundogan. And Nottingham Forest are 1-0 up against Brentford, with a goal from Morgan Gibbs-White, assisted by Emmanuel Dennis. So the latest scores in the Premier League at the moment: Leeds United 1, Bournemouth 1, Man City 1, Fulham 0, Nottingham Forest 1, Brentford 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. So that's your latest scores at the moment in the Premier League. In the Premier League. And whatever you're doing this afternoon, I hope you have a very good afternoon. And take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Bye-bye for now.